Eariously lets you listen to the things you want to read by turning anything, websites, emails, articles, PDFs, even images, into audio to listen to on your phone or laptop. We have lived on campus at Colby College for the spring semester, working closely with a small group of a few hundred students to design the perfect listening tool. While bootstrapping Eariously, we have signed up over 1,000 folks ready to buy our software when we release it to the general public. We have learned that we have two customers: busy college students who want to listen to their reading assignments, and busy young people who want to consume more information but who just don't have the time. We believe that we have created the best text to speech solution available within either the consumer or accessibility spaces. And we plan to start selling subscriptions of Eariously by the end of this year. Hi there, I'm Nick Rimza, and I'll be your narrator. This is my partner, Brendan Barr. We love Brendan, but Brendan doesn't much love the spotlight.
So, Brendan will be played by Alfred, our favorite of Eariously's voices.
We first got together 3 years ago because Brendan could always build things, but could never sell them, and I could always sell things, but I couldn't build them. I've worked for various startups, including my own, as a product manager, designer, and salesperson. Brendan has worked for several agencies and various startups, including his own, as a programmer. We're learning obsessed, and we try to get a little bit better every day. Brendan and I are the co-creators of Eariously, and we're based in Waterville, Maine. I should share, too, that we have bootstrapped Eariously. We believe wholeheartedly in the project, and we have spent our own money since September developing the product.
We love learning, and listening is our favorite medium.
When I was a student at Colby College 6 years ago, I turned my reading assignments into listening assignments. While through hiking the Appalachian Trail, I listened to a new book every day. While working remotely across the world, Overdrive became Brendan's favorite app, as he listened to his library's online shelves. And while self-funding a previous startup, I drove for Lyft and listened to oodles of books thanks to Boston Public Library. Audio is essential to us. Back in September, I told Brendan that I had a ton of things to read, and I was struggling to keep up. After I tried about a dozen different solutions, including the biggest ones, like Pocket and Instapaper, I found myself really frustrated because, frankly, I didn't like any of them. And when I told Brendan, he said,
"You know what? We should make this thing for ourselves."
And that was that. In January, I had the privilege to return to Waterville and teach a product design course at Colby College. My class was the first large group, 30 total students, to use Eariously outside of small group testing. Brendan and I have ties to New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles, and we had initially planned to leave Maine after our month on campus. But now we're here for good. We've been overwhelmed by the amount of kindness, goodness, and willingness to help within the Maine community, and we've made Waterville our home. Since the end of January, we've lived on campus, working with hundreds of students to design the perfect listening tool. Eariously is made up of three big pieces: an app, a browser extension, Chrome specifically, and an assignment manager. The app is where most of the listening happens. Listeners can add things directly to the app as well. The Chrome extension is where listeners add most of the things they want to listen to. In addition, listeners can listen to the page right in front of them. The assignment manager is where students or professors can add all of their course material, even outside of a learning management system like Blackboard, Canvas, or Moodle, and invite their class or classmates to use Eariously and listen to the assignments that have been added.
Let's check it out together.
Imagine that you found this article in your browser and you wanted to listen to it. You'd simply tell our Chrome extension to send this to your phone and enjoy it later. You're seeing a computer screen in front of you, but this is just a mirror image of your phone.
Oceans Balance, a Cape Elizabeth edible seaweed products startup, won the $100,000 Greenlight Maine Finale Grant Prize.
And by the way, we taste tested some seaweed sprinkles last night.
And I'll tell you, they were quite scrumptious.
Now, let's say you're a student adding coursework for a class about, say, entrepreneurship in Central Maine. I could do all of this through the Chrome extension, but because I'm probably adding all of these things from one place, like a learning management system such as Blackboard, Canvas, or Moodle, I could do all of this in our assignment manager, where I can then invite my classmates or class to listen to the reading assignments. For this example, we're going to add a few articles, one about our dear new friend, Derek Miska, and a PDF from the Libre Future Fund. where we're currently a finalist for the grant. Please do keep your fingers crossed for us. I'm just going to add the links of the 2 articles and then add the PDF file as well. When something is added, a link, PDF, image, or whatever else, Eariously figures out what's important and what's not, so that you can just listen. After our software reads everything, students can add a due date to receive reminders about their listening assignments. So that their listening experience is top-notch, as well as the listening experience for first-time users, we ask students to verify how well our software read everything. So, we show the original item, and then they can edit what has been read. We then collect the changes, and Eariously learns from the mistakes. We should mention, once a change has been made to an item, those changes will be made everywhere so that everyone can just listen to what matters, not just the editor. Our ability to read items correctly has been rapidly improving, and with every new listener adding and checking things, our software gets better and better every day with the help of our listeners. After making sure everything looks okay for my classmates, I'm ready to make the feed publicly available and invite them, or you in this case. Now I'm ready to go listen, and my classmates have an email waiting for them to get started. While the following article notes that Maine is lagging behind in a number of key indicators, we're excited to be part of what we believe is an excellent team in Central Maine trying our best to change this. And because of organizations like Greenlight Maine helping to promote the development of growth in business throughout our state, we know that this laggard status is sure soon to be left in the past.
A new report on Maine's economic strengths and weaknesses found the state lagging behind the nation in several areas, including elementary education, working-age population, research and development spending, affordable healthcare, and transportation infrastructure.
So, where are we heading? Starting next week, we'll be piloting our software at scale on 5 campuses, 3 in Maine, during summer session with an eye towards understanding how to best spread our software amongst large groups of people. We believe that Eariously has the capability of becoming a viral product, and we believe the students we're working with this summer will help us understand how to best develop these improvements. Why do we think this? Our 2 groups of listeners, students and busy young people, have been using the assignment manager to share things other than assignments, something we definitely did not anticipate. That is, listeners want their friends to hear what they're listening to outside of academic or professional settings. We plan to have a few key deliverables by the end of this year, and this will happen with or without funding, albeit at a slower pace. Deliverable number 1, a sellable iOS app. Why iOS? The vast majority of our current group of listeners are iPhone users, as are the vast majority of our over 1,000 person waiting list. Deliverable number 2 is sales to our first 100 customers by the end of this year. We plan to sell Eariously subscriptions, and we know that our listeners have a willingness to pay. Why only sell 100 subscriptions to start? While we do have quite a bit more demand, and we're certain that we can garner significantly more, we believe that controlling our initial growth will reduce risk and cost as we responsibly understand how to scale. In addition, a controlled growth approach allows us to understand how to provide outstanding support to our listeners when potential problems arise. Our small number of current listeners love Eariously, and we believe that our product is already the best text-to-speech mobile product available within either accessibility or consumer spaces. While our learning will only intensify, we believe it's time for the rest of Maine and elsewhere to start enjoying listening to the things they want to read.
Thank you so much for listening to us.